Hey everybody, welcome to the OBT show. I'm Chris.
And I was talking about my hernia before. I was telling Chris I've got mesh on my left side of my pelvic area and my right side. And it hurts and it makes me feel old. It makes me sad because I can't run. And then I have plantar fasciitis, whatever you call it, in my foot. My heel hurts.
We're just gonna call you Brendan Meshy O'Brien.
I got the Dr. Scholl's gelling. I'm gelling now.
Are you gelling?
Yeah, I'm gelling.
I need to gel. I need to.
It feels
gelling.
better. I mean, it sucks to spend the money on these little insoles, but I'd rather not be in pain.
I just get the ones that make my feet not smell. I need to get the ones that
I would love to have
comfy.
that problem.
What?
Because I need I need the ones that actually comfort my feet. The heels. It's a heel. I had heel spurs type stuff.
Foot health segment on the OBT show.
Listen, we could talk about a variety of things because we are Renaissance men.
We're a serious news program.
We are not. No, we're Renaissance men. We talk a variety of topics, including my hernia.
Including but not limited to.
Including but not limited to all things hernia. If you have a question about the hernia, you can email me at theobtshow@gmail.com or tweet me at theobtshow. You can also find us on Facebook, The OBT Show, if you type that in. I'm getting better with the Twitter. I have to post the latest pod we put up, but I think I wrote something like, hey, we're here, and then Twitter sent me an email like, welcome back. It's like, damn it.
We're not there.
We're not there. We've got 20 followers, but that's cool. But maybe we could even sell some more ad time on Smodcast, even though it didn't really do much. It was kind of fun to make connections,
It was fun to make a commercial.
It was fun to make a commercial, but remember Ming said that they are not letting you make your own anymore. It's going to be, they might do it in-house, which is kind of funny. Air? They might either read it over the air or they might produce something, which I'd be all right with. I don't care.
We made a good one, though.
We did make a really
We showed up.
That one got the most views out of everything we said.
Well, that's because I put it as the first video that people see.
I know.
If that's the only video that they see, it's a really good example of who we are.
Which I'm okay with.
What?
We're slowly climbing toward OBT 50. That's weird.
I know.
It feels good, though.
Are we going to throw confetti at each other the whole episode?
I think so, but, I mean, you might... we'll have to see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We might be able to do that. So what was in the news that you wanted to talk about?
In the news. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Ba-na-na-na.
More Batman news.
Did you have more Batman
I
news?
watched a lovely film by the title of Son of Batman that introduced Damian Wayne to those that only watched the DC movies and don't read comics, which is cool. Mm-hmm. It was good. It continued the continuity from Justice League War, so it was the same Batman and that styling. So it's the new 52 styling, and it was cool to give voice to the character of Damian Wayne. So it was, he's really, really snotty.
What kind of voice is it? Is it high pitched? Is it?
It's a kid's voice.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because he's young.
Yeah.
And the story was very, very, very quick paced. So a lot of stuff happened in a short amount of time because I think it was only like an hour and 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Okay.
And the transitions between Damian going from living with Talia and Raish to living with Bruce is just so awkward. Talia just shows up and just like, also, he's your son.
Well, that's how they did in the comic books.
I know, but it doesn't translate well for film. Comic books is more like you put your own sense of emotion into it as much as they give you emotion.
Right.
This is just like, this is what is going.
And also you make a good point too with how it introduces that character into the movie universe where if you're right, if you don't really know the history or context of Batman beyond what you see, you don't really get that Talia boned Batman quite a bit back in the day. And a lot in the 70s was him. And if you Google it, 70s Batman and Talia, 80s Batman, he's always shirtless but wearing the cowl because he's a kinky bastard. That's the funniest thing. He'd be almost naked, but I'm going to keep that cowl on. Even though you know my name, which I always thought was
keep it business casual.
Business casual. I'm just going to take off my shirt, but then I'm going to leave my cowl on.
But it was good. It was nice. It really did reflect the comic character. A lot of like where he first gets introduced to his dad. It's Bruce in the Batman costume, and he goes, "All right, well, I guess we're gonna go back to, we're gonna go home." And he's walking up to the Batmobile, and Damian's like, "Can I drive?" No. No, but I know how to drive. No.
Yeah.
It's just very very cut and dry Batman.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd say it was pretty good. I'd say 3.5 to 4.
What is
out
our
of
rating
5.
system?
I'm gonna say batarangs going into Joker's fists.
Do we have a rating system?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We make a new one every single time.
We do. So this is out of 5, and it's batarangs.
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5. All right, that's not bad. I'm gonna watch
4,
it.
so 3.75.
3 point. Okay.
One broke
We're
off.
rounding up.
It hit Bane and bounced off and chipped on the floor.
You're out of your mind.
I am.
No, that's cool. I think I like the Batman films, the animated ones. I have to burp. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I burped.
Hey, at least you didn't do it in my face.
I didn't.
I appreciate
like the
that.
last time. But I think I wait for them on Netflix. I don't like buying them. I think they're cool that they're branching out that way, but it's always a weird. I don't know their system. There doesn't seem to be much of a rhyme or reason for what they put out. It's like, we haven't done Wonder Woman in a while, so let's make one of her, which is kind of cool. But I'm looking forward to them branching out more, and I like that this is a little bit more cohesive because I'd like to see more of that, and maybe a trilogy or so. I saw an article that they were going to create a Suicide Squad cartoon that is in the Batman Arkham verse.
Yeah, it's Arkham Asylum. It's coming out later this year.
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it features just the Suicide Squad Squad, but has Batman.
Yeah, Batman's in it, and
Joker.
They're going battling throughout Arkham, which is pretty badass.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very Batman-esque year for DC animated.
Oh, well, it's 75th anniversary.
So they got to do it.
They got to do a lot of stuff. Yeah. It is also the release of Batman Eternal, which is a weekly Batman comic book series they're going to do for the next year, which is kind of cool. And they started with I haven't got a chance to read the whole thing yet, but it is very similar if you were a fan of 52 or if you were a fan of Countdown. Those were both books about 3-4 years ago that DC released that were similar in style. It was a year-long story, but this is kind of cool because it's actually just specific with one character, whereas the other ones were featuring the entire DC universe. Mm-hmm. So, interesting stuff. It will tie into Batman and
so
what they should
be canon?
It's all canon. Even though Batman proper, if you will, is still ongoing monthly. They are still in the midst of the 0 Year story, which is a really excellent retelling of Batman's early years. And then they're going to pick up parts of what's going on with Eternal. They'll complement each other. They won't supplement one over the other, but there'll be storylines that are going almost side by side with what's happening in Eternal.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a big panel with Kevin Conroy and Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman and not Bob Kane, Jim Lee. Sorry, I was thinking someone else who had a heavy hand in Batman later on, obviously. But so a lot of cool stuff going on. You and I are probably likely going to the Comic-Con in New York again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I click on the press registration every single day.
Yeah,
so
you let me know when it's up, and then we'll...
Oh, yeah.
Because we have an inside track since we were there last year, which is nice. Boom. So we're going to be... We will make business cards before we get down there.
Oh, yeah.
Which we... Rookie mistake.
It happens to the best.
Because I was like, so do you have a card? I was like, no. Do you have a pen and a pad? Because I was an idiot.
You can find us on that Twitter.
Yeah, we're on Twitter. And they're like, yeah, I am too, ass. Okay.
I'll follow you.
Yeah. Wink, wink. So yeah, man. What else is going on?
I don't know. That was what mine was going on.
Oh, okay. I got a couple things, and then I have an article that I want to have a discussion with you about.
Oh,
You're
it means we have to go back and forth and.
We don't have to. It's not a formal debate.
Intelligent thought.
I am scoring it, but it's not a formal debate.
Oh, you're gonna score.
I'm gonna score it.
All right. Once I know that there's a score, I got to do well.
You got to do well.
So I got to do well.
You put too much pressure on yourself.
It's okay. I want to get at least a B.
I finished Uncharted 3.
Hey.
Did you play that?
No. I don't have a PlayStation.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I'm sorry. You sound so mad
I've played the
about it.
games in the sense of I've toyed around with them, but I've never played it all the way through.
I wasn't a big fan of Uncharted when it first came out, and I played it. I was like, oh, what's this hype all about? And I liked 2. 2 had a really strong ending. I don't know how you feel about boss battles in games, but I like a culmination. I like when it all culminates to a final battle.
Yeah.
And it does take some liberties with the final Uncharted 2, where, long story short, he becomes more than just a man. He's super powered, and it takes a while to kill him. You have to blow up stuff
thanks
around
for
him.
ruining it for me.
Hey, shut up. You're never going to play it. You don't have a PlayStation.
That's true.
So Uncharted 3, the ending, without giving away spoilers if you want to play it, even though it's been out for 4 years.
He's dead.
He's dead, no. Everyone's dying. It just stops. The game just stops. And then just a line of code. It says, fuck you, you spent $50. No, that's Thief. Ha, remember that? I'm still mad about it. Sorry. But the game ends on a timed, what do you call those when you have to hit a button at a certain time? What's the...
Quick time?
Quick time ending, which I was disappointed with because I hate games that end that way. Call of Duty ends that way too, and I think Modern Warfare 3, when you're on the skylight.
And Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
And Modern Warfare.
I think so. Like, I kind of get it. It's a very... Games that want to tell a specific story utilize the quick time endings because it keeps the narrative going the way they want it to go. Whereas boss endings that don't have that kind of leave it up to the player, which I like. I like the player can decide said ending, if you will, even though
your last move beating Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII is, you know, the Chocobo Summon instead of whatever else you did.
Right.
You control... Exactly. I love that game. I just had to throw it out.
That's okay. Hey, man. I'm with it. But, I mean, there's you know, even, if people want to take a dump on Arkham Asylum's ending with Joker, at least I felt like I got to fight the Joker, even though it was a souped-up Venom-induced Joker.
Yeah, it was still pretty cool.
There's still there's elements. I'm like, okay, even though there's a strong narrative, I get to quote-unquote choose the ending and how I end this. So, Uncharted 3...
Only Batarangs,
yeah. Oh, you're fighting in hand-to-hand skills. I mean, nothing.
You're rolling around the map as soon as you stop, just...
I know. Poison Ivy, only hit her with a batarang. Game mechanics. So I think for me, I was bummed out that the ending... That's my only knock on Uncharted 3. The rest of the set pieces is an awesome game. If you haven't played Uncharted series, pick it up.
Aren't they, like, doing a fourth? Isn't there rumors or something?
They are, but there have been so many stories of key people that were part of the original trilogy leaving. So the main creative director left, the writer and producer left of the Uncharted series, and I think some key acting voices are also leaving. So
it's going to be a Assassin's Creed Ubisoft
pretty much. Or it's going to be very, very similar when Rocksteady punted Arkham Origins over to Montreal, WB Montreal, and they were like, it'll be fine. And I was like, this is this terrible game that has all these glitches. And again, they made a press release saying, we're not going to fix it, which translates to this game didn't sell well. So all the other teams are moving on. And they also released, sorry, I'm jumping around, but they released the Cold Heart DLC for Arkham Origins to little fanfare. And I don't even think it was reviewed by anybody. I've been looking for a review to see if it's worth my money.
IGN has one.
Really? I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
But absolutely nothing. So, sorry, go get your gum.
Sorry. That's the loudest
you
gun
picked the
retrieval.
loudest gum. You ass.
I tried to be quiet. I swear.
It was so loud. Your gum was so loud.
All right, I'm back.
You're back. So that was that. That was my story about that. You gum chewing bastard.
SOB.
All right, this is the thing I want to talk to you about.
Oh wait, before we go into this,
yeah.
Quick mention. Did you see the thing that Stone Cold said about same-sex marriages?
Yes, awesome.
If you get a chance, look it up online. Mm-hmm. They have like the full audio clip, but he was basically in defense of and saying like everybody needs to mind their own business, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
Which is awesome.
It's awesome.
It was great. Shout out to Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, we love you.
Love you.
Stunners all around.
He's not going to want to talk to us now.
No.
Zack Synder, director of Man of Steel and 300 and Watchmen. You don't care.
Visual extraordinaire. Story.
Looks nice. We talked about it, got a lot of flack, and also other people have talked about it ad nauseum. A lot of people die in Metropolis in that last battle, and Superman seems to not really care.
An absurdly large amount.
Absurd amounts of people. My lady was talking to me about it, and she was like, well, they were evacuating. I'm like, no. There are people running into the streets, but you can't, there's no way that the amount of people in those buildings were out by the time Superman started beating the crap out of Zod and throwing him into things.
Think of Metropolis as pseudo New York.
Right.
Like Chicago.
Right.
Nobody gets out that fast.
Nobody gets out that fast.
No.
And
I mean, some people that live on the edge got out that fast.
And it was clearly a work day. So not even like a Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Which even I would accept that even better if that was how he was treating that fight. If it was Sunday afternoon, nobody was at work.
Well, this just goes back to if it's not in the big city, we can't sell the story idea. Which if they put those, locations for the ship, or the what was
spaceship,
Phantom Drive, the planet starter, whatever, blah 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 bullshit.
Which idea was like,
if they put that in 2 spots in the ocean around the world, you'd still get the same sense of shit, this is really really bad.
Yeah, or have them fight in an abandoned steel mill because that's still fun.
That's still cool.
I'm
okay with that. Yeah,
1-on-1,
little rustic battle.
Yeah. So anyway, he got a lot of flack, and he is gearing up to shoot the sequel, which has still not received a title. It's just being referred to as the Superman, Batman, or Man of Steel 2, but it hasn't
Batman
received...
versus Superman.
Yeah, whatever. And the director told Forbes, and this is coming out of Variety, that he's merely depicting, quote, the real world we live in. Snyder said that the fans are clinging to the more squeaky clean Superman as depicted by Christopher Reeve in the iconic movies instead of the comic book version of Superman who wreaked massive damage. And this is his quote. The thing I was surprised about in response to Superman was how everyone clings to the Christopher Reeve version of Superman. How tightly they cling to those ideas, not really the comic book version, but more the movie version. If you really analyze the comic book version of Superman, he's killed, he's done all the things. I guess the rules that people associate with Superman in the movie world are not the rules that really apply to him in the comic book world, because those rules are different. He's done all the things and more that we've shown him doing, right? What is your response to that? Because I have my own feelings.
I was just infatuated with your awesome, quoting.
My phone's going off.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Well, now it's
Talk it out.
Chris time at the OBT show. We're going to rank on Brendan for being professional. He is the shining light in this industry of professionalism.
I'm a professional broadcaster.
So what do I think? Yeah, he's killed people, but it's usually only the bad guys and not really directly resulted in massive, massive casualties of humans.
And I don't know what he's reading. What books is he reading?
Like, I know he's killed Zod.
Yeah.
And he's killed Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think, because this is hard to think of how many people Superman's killed.
Yeah, because it's not like he murders haphazardly.
Yeah, didn't he kill Zod or was it some other Kryptonians with like yellow kryptonite or green kryptonite or?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're looking at all of Superman's history historically, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Superman was a really weird dude, and he would do stupid things. Like, he would make 2 women fight over him. He would make fun of... If you Google who's his best friend, Jimmy... What?
Oh,
the guy who takes pictures. Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen.
Superman tortures Jimmy Olsen. Gets him drunk in the 30s and 40s. Makes him feel like Superman hates him on purpose to break him out of some mind spell. Makes him fight Batman. Like, there's all these weird things he does to him.
I like this guy.
It's funny. It's like, in hindsight, it's funny. And then when you get to the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, Superman doesn't really go as ballistic as he does in the movie. He has fights in the city. Maybe that's what Snyder's trying to compare. But the amount of destruction is never at that level, where maybe he gets thrown through a building, but buildings don't topple, and entire blocks aren't leveled every single time Superman has a fight. So I think to make the comparison back to Christopher Reeve, which I loved, I like those movies a lot.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I mean, The Quest for Peace is terrible.
Christopher Reeves is cool.
Yeah, he kind of gave a little humanity to it. And that's what, at the core, all Superman stories have that humanity. And I feel like Snyder is cherry-picking certain moments in Superman's history and saying, this is who he is, and not looking at overall historically. Superman is the Boy Scout. He is not the edgy guy in the real world. If that's what he wanted to do, then he should have made Batman, which that's why I'm like, that's probably why he wanted Batman, because he can finally do that gritty element and have it make sense. Whereas if you keep doing Superman movies, they're always going to have that humanizing element where he is protective of people. So the Superman he created is not really...
He is protective, but not in the sense where, like, he should have blown that shit up.
No.
Or they should have wrote it in the script that he should have been able to blow that shit up before it leveled, 30% or 40% of the city. It wasn't that they killed people. It was violent.
It was violent, yeah.
It was people floating up in the air, and you hear screaming, and people stuck in their cars, and then being thudded into the ground, and then lifted and thudded and lifted and thudded. It was over and over, and I was like, I got like sick watching it because it's just like this is not right. This is not a Superman movie.
And I think and Superman has always been, and in a lot of the books, he's conscious of his surroundings. So if he's fighting someone, he's throwing them away from it or into, I don't know, space because he can breathe in space and there's nobody out there. And that's a lot of stories, and even the movies, there's fights on the moon because there's nobody out on the moon, so they can go to town on each other.
Exactly.
So I disagree with what he was talking about. And he continues to say that he really wanted to show, it wasn't just like they thought, I really wanted to show the violence is real. People get killed or hurt, and it's not fun or funny. I agree with you, but you're not making a socially conscious film. You're making a Superman film. If you wanted to do a drama, to make that film, go ahead. But when you start implementing that and putting that on Superman, you're going to get some criticism because it's supposed to be a lighthearted, he's a hero. He's not a guy who's like, sorry, I blew up your building, but it was for the greater good. He's not gritty like that. He's always thinking about how his response and how his power affects humanity. And if there's an element of danger, he gets rid of that from the people. And
you're talking about one of the worst transitions of story elements ever.
Yeah.
Where huge battle transitions to, now he's fully accepted his role as Superman and the government spying on him.
Yeah.
No transition whatsoever. No like leftover of what happened in the city. Just nope, we're going to go right on ahead and pretend like nothing happened.
And I hated that ending because he blows up their satellite and then gives it to him. I was like, he's being an asshole. Superman is not. What Superman would have done is...
Well, it was a drone, I think, wasn't it?
Or thought it was a satellite.
It was a satellite.
But even if it was a drone, he's not going to blow stuff up. He's how I would have written it, not that anyone's asking, is I would have had the drone meet up with the general, say, it's getting closer, and then Superman just holds it and goes, "Is this yours?"
Yeah,
and gives
exactly.
it back to him.
He's more got like that snarky, like I'm.
He's a Midwestern boy at heart, so he's gonna be a little snarky and a little wholesome about it.
Yeah, he's gonna be smiling the entire time, just like I think you lost something, that's more Superman than hold on, let me just blow it up.
And then he with his arms crossed, like, were you spying on me? You're not a benevolent master above all that you reign. You are Superman, and you are supposed to be, even as the Russell Crowe narration says, you're supposed to be what they admire and what they strive for, and they will stumble. And you'll have to wait, and they'll pick themselves up. I was like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, I thought Russell Crowe was okay in the movie. He was probably one of the better elements of the movie.
Even Ghost of Russell Crowe in the spaceship, which I was like, this is kind of weird. It just makes me more annoyed with him, I guess, and more sort of, okay, now you're going to make a super depressing Batman if you're already making a bummer of a Superman. And what are you going to do? Are you going to blow up Gotham?
Well, they're making a real bummer of a Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I know.
Jesse Eisenberg.
And he's supposed to be like a punk kid that's like angry. I was like, oh.
He grew up on the streets.
Yeah, I was like, this is...
No. That is so anti-Lex Luthor.
And again, you and I talked about the setup is beautiful. Lex Luthor is upset. He's a billionaire. He's upset that Superman invaded his hometown and blew up Metropolis. He's going to kill him. Now this sounds like angry young boy who somehow is a heir to money just goes after Superman because he's mad and angry at the world. No.
Yeah, there's too much angst being added.
And if they mumbled through this, I'm going to be so miserable. Because Jesse Eisenberg mumbles a lot.
He's the mumble master.
Mumblecore.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
There's going to be a whole lot of action and then mumbling in the background.
I know, and no one's going to know what's happening.
I want him to do a voiceover of a huge battle in the movie. Just like, it's going to be like Superman fighting Batman with Jesse Eisenberg mumbling in the background.
And then Superman's going to come over and then he's going to fight Batman.
It's the battle of the ages.
Battle of the ages.
It's the thing.
I warned Superman. I told him not to come near me. I was going to get Batman. I don't like him.
And it's going to be like that classic, like, thud, pow, wham, as they're fighting each other.
Look at Superman, thud, pow, wham. He just hit the Batmobile fight.
Recipe for disaster. But hey, We're gonna have Wonder Woman in the movie. Let's
let's
do a
just crowbar
standalone Wonder Woman movie. Would probably be better than anything that Zack Snyder's gonna do.
Put in Ryan Reynolds. Dress him up like Green Lantern again. Make that canon. Make it canon.
No.
And although I would be happy if they make the guy who plays Arrow part of the Justice League. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome.
They won't
because they're
do
doing
it.
Flash.
Yeah, they're doing Flash.
They're gonna have.
They're not gonna do it.
Two essential.
They're
members.
not gonna do it because that's easy. They're not gonna want to make it easy. Zack Snyder's gonna be like, the Arrow should be depressed and not as lighthearted.
No, that's not Ollie's character.
I know.
He's depressed later on in life when he loses his fucking arm.
Well, yeah, but they retconned that out.
I know, but still,
his arm. Then he does get the mechanical one, right?
No, well, yeah, but I mean, still, that's there's your depressed Ollie. Even then, he was still funny. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody that's going to sport a blonde goatee has to have some character. He can't be depressed. Has to have character. That is OBT show official ruling.
You have to have some character. If you have a goatee, what's the rule? If you have a blonde goatee, you have to have some levity.
Yes, you have to.
Otherwise, get out.
Yeah, we don't need you. Don't got time for it.
Chris, what did you learn today?
I don't even know if I want to discuss what I learned today.
Come on. What did you learn?
We are equally unprofessional when it comes to sounds and our surroundings on the OBT show. What did you learn today, Brendan?
I learned how to turn the alarm off my phone.
Yeah!
And that my hernia hurts. And that Zack Snyder's not going to make it feel better.
No, he won't.
There's one, hernia. What'd you say, Jesse Eisenberg? Just wanted to put some ice on the hernia. I'm Superman. I'm Lex Luthor. Balthud. Kabam. I'm Brendan.
I'm Chris.
Jesse Eisenberg.